Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. My name is Chad Medved. This is my podcast. Thank you for being here with us this week. I hope you enjoy the show. If you are new here, what I do with my podcast is I sit down with interesting people and we talk about what they do and how they got to that point in their lives. Been doing this podcast for about 6 years. Very proud of the work that I do. And I'm always looking for good opportunities to work with people and do my part in trying to spread the word on cool events in the city. This week, I get to do that. This week, not only do I sit down with Eric Kellar, who is the owner of Lawrenceville Pet Supply, I sit down with Eric Kellar to talk about the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour. Now, I know I threw some information at you at one time. Let's rewind a little bit. Eric Kellar is the owner of Lawrenceville Pet Supply. If you are familiar with that place, it is I don't know what color you would really call it. I should have asked him that whenever I was interviewing him. What color is his store? I would call it like a lime green, slime green, something like that. I hope he doesn't take offense to slime green, but the store stands out. You could say that. But Eric is a business owner in Lawrenceville, and the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour is an event that has been held in the community for over 2 decades. As a Pittsburgher who's been here, I've been around. I have never been to the Cookie Tour. And frankly, I'm upset about it. I have just, I've really not done my due diligence in, sniffing out these crazy events. Let me tell you what this cookie tour is. So the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour, like I said, has been around for 2 decades. And what this is a 30 block long cookie table. And yeah, I said it, 30 blocks. We all know about cookie tables. If you don't, come out from under a rock. You ain't from Southwestern PA. You don't say yinz if you don't know about a cookie table. Cookie table is arguably the best part of any event that you go to. It doesn't matter. Christmas, there's going to be cookies everywhere. But obviously weddings, that's whenever you get the creme de la creme of a cookie table. So this event, December 9th and 10th, down in Lawrenceville, and whenever I say Lawrenceville, I don't mean just upper Lawrenceville. I mean lower Lawrenceville. I mean upper Lawrenceville. I mean the whole deal. And what this is multiple vendors, and they could be business owners, they could be, restaurants. They all participate in this event, the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour, which is a whole weekend. And what it is these business owners want you to come into their store. You know what I mean? If you go down to Lawrenceville and you are shopping for something, you usually know where you're going down there. Obviously, if you're a tourist, you're walking around, you're popping into places you might not know about. But, as someone who's been in here, I was walking around this weekend down Lawrenceville, and there was multiple stores I've never heard of. So what the Cookie Tour is designed to do is these patrons who are participating, they put out a table and they put out a cookie spread, and you go in, you grab yourself a cookie, and you look around at their wares, or, their drink or their food that they're doing. I guess that depends on if you're going to a boutique or if you're going to a restaurant or a brewery, because you have all these different types of vendors in the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour. The numbers are not definite, but over 50 cookie stops. And what a cookie stop is it's a place. You either go to a restaurant, you go to a store, they got a cookie table there. You go in, bring yourself a Ziploc baggie. Don't get greedy. You know what I mean? Pop in, grab yourself a cookie. If there's 50 stops, that's over 50 cookies. You get one cookie at a place. But some of these people are very generous. Eric is probably right now, this moment, he's probably making pizzelles. He brought me a fat bag of pizzelles whenever he came over. And he also brought me cookies from Chantal's Cheese, which are also going to be in, the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour. You got all these great people down there participating in this. Some people are making incredible homemade cookies. Some people are buying cookies in bulk. You know what I mean? Who is going to complain about a free cookie and a free event in general? You know what I mean? This event is designed to support local business. The holidays are coming up. I kind of champion the movement every holiday season to go and shop local. You know what I mean? Quit giving that bastard Jeff Bezos money. You know what I mean? I'm guilty of it. I buy too much shit from Amazon. try this season. Try this holiday season to keep the money in circulation into the community. Go down to the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour event, get your holiday season shopping done, and it's your chance to be thoughtful for your people. You know what I mean? Think about it now as you hear this. Think about the people you need to get stuff for, and think about where you could go down in Lawrenceville and buy for them while you're eating cookies. You know what I mean? It's going to be a fun time. They have take-a-break stops down there. What a take-a-break stop is, it's a stop that, some of these people have drinks, some of these people have hot cocoa, some of these people have specials. There's multiple take-a-break stops in this event along the way. And there's also a trolley. They got 2 trolleys this year. They got trolleys that are there to bring you from upper Lawrenceville to lower Lawrenceville. They got it all worked out. I'm very pumped about it. I'm going to be bopping around the whole weekend down there, getting my cookies. That's for damn sure. And I will absolutely be getting my holiday shopping done. It's pretty incredible because, I've been here. I've looked around at cool stuff, but, there's still places that I'm guilty of not ever being in. I didn't know some of these places existed down in Lawrenceville. I'm just excited to get down there early and walk through and, just be able to walk through these spaces and, check out these places. 30 blocks long. You know what I mean? 30 city blocks of cookie tables. If you don't got nothing to do the 9th and the 10th, you got something to do now. Come on down, have a good time with us all. There's going to be all kinds of fun shit going on. And, the holidays are here. What more do you want? I'm fully in it. I'm staring at the Halloween decorations right now, and I am, they're getting taken down. Saturday, it's happening. And, it's for good reason. The holiday seasons are coming up. I tend to sway the episode guests to follow the holiday trend. And you already know I got another Santa lined up for us. Every year for the last few years, I've found a Santa and I've talked to a Santa, and they've all been fantastic conversations. I got another Santa lined up. I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited for the future. I'm very excited for the cookie tour. It's going to be great. I appreciate the Lawrenceville Corporation and the Cookie Tour Committee for reaching out to me to help spread this word for this awesome event. Because you know what I mean? What more do you want? 30 blocks long. I'll leave it at that. If you want more information, there's a couple of ways you could do it. You can go to their website, lvpgh.com/Cookie Tour 2023. You can go to their Instagram at lvpgh_Cookie Tour, or you can go to their Facebook, lvpgh Cookie Tour. We all know how to use the internet. I would hope you do by now. Lawrenceville, the Cookie Tour, look it up. All the information is on there. There's going to be maps there. There's going to be lists of all the places, so there's no guessing, and it's going to be a hell of a time. It's going to be a great time. I hope to see you there. Eric Kellar is a great guest. He sits down with me this week, and he's the perfect one to talk to about this Cookie Tour event. Not only, like I said, is he a business owner down there, but he has a great story in himself. I'm going to get him back on to really dive into him as a pet supplies, owner, or a pet supplies store owner, because, we kind of were in the weeds about the Cookie Tour to be fully transparent with you. That was the goal here, is to get the word out about the Cookie Tour. But I got to get Eric back on because he's fascinating. We get into a lot of the stuff that he gets into, but I want to get in the weeds with him. So without further ado, episode 263 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Eric Kellar and the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour.
I gotta use the telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. So basically, the closer you are to
the better it's going to be.
Yeah, the better it sounds. Are your headphones all right?
My headphones are, it's
volume's
perfect.
all right?
Perfect.
I'm pumped about this. Been thinking about this whole conversation a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that, this ultimately ended up being you're the perfect candidate for this. If we're going to talk about this event in Lawrenceville, the Cookie Tour, what better person to talk with than a business owner down in Lawrenceville himself?
That's me.
How long have you been here?
I've had my store a little over 7 years now. And we've lived less than a mile from Lawrenceville for 24 years.
24 years. So you've been there for a while.
We've been in 7 years before that. We were in Bloomfield. So we've been in that
not too far away.
Quite some time. We've seen everything happen down there.
Now, so you were born in Bloomfield?
No, I was. My wife and I were both born in the eastern suburbs, Churchill, Forest Hills.
Okay.
We ran around Regent Square. That was kind of our stomping grounds.
And then Bloomfield, and then you ended up right over by Lawrenceville.
Yeah, out of high school, joined the military, joined the Navy, got out of the Navy, and
how long were you in there?
I did 2 years active, and then I did 3 years Army National Guard.
Okay. Well, before you even get out of all this, obviously, I don't assume that you grew up knowing that you were going to own a pet supply store.
No.
So that's what's usually all the people that I talk to, I would say probably 90% of the people that I ask, everyone's like, yeah, I had no idea this is what I was going to do. And it's always pretty fascinating how people kind of find their way to that. But growing up, what kind of things were you interested in?
Lots of different things. I as soon as I was old enough to take the bus, I got out of the suburbs and started, going to Oakland and, and Squirrel Hill and kind of enjoying the city. But also growing up, my family, on my father's side had a farm out in Hermione, which is near Irwin.
Yeah.
And so we got that side of it too. Every Sunday, it was my brother and I in the front door, out the back door with our fishing rods and going fishing. So we grew up, partially on a farm. So animals were something that always had been kind of in my life.
That's awesome. That's it's always I had a family member that had a pond and stuff up there. They had some acres, and it's a great thing to be exposed to whenever you're younger. You might not appreciate it as much when you were younger, but in my later years, I appreciate what we had there.
Oh yeah, for sure. When you're growing up and you're young, you don't realize it in the moment. You think everybody lives life like that.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, there's a pond here. We could fish in here every day, and it's like we didn't take advantage of it like we would.
Yeah.
It's just wild to think about it. But that's cool that you have kind of both views on everything. Get a little bit of the outer realm of it all, and then the city living as well. What kind of things were you thinking you were going to do as a career?
You know what? Honestly, that's why I joined the military, because it wasn't that I didn't know. It was just I wanted to do so many things. I had to kind of hone it down, and it was I want to do this. I want to get into psychology. I want to do administration of criminal justice. I want to So there were lots of different things that I had ideas about. When I first looked into the military, the Air Force had a program that you go through training with a puppy German Shepherd, and you become basically a military police officer, and that dog works with you through your enlistment. Then I found out I was colorblind.
Oh wow!
And that pretty much shrunk my options in the military down significantly, and that's why I only did a 2-year enlistment in the Navy that was available at that time, just because I didn't know if the military was going to be a career for me because I was so limited.
Wow. That really limits what you could do?
Oh, it shrunk. So I scored, I have nothing to do with electronics now, but apparently I scored exceptionally high in YASFAB on electronics. And they were like, yeah, you could do this and you could do that. And let's do your physical. And yeah, you can't do any of that because you have to work with wires that are different colors.
I guess that would make sense. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So after that, I know that we got into, you told me a little bit previously about you doing some time at the zoo.
Yeah.
Working with octopuses.
Yeah.
Is it octopi?
It's both. Octopuses and octopi are both correct.
Okay, well, that's good to know. How do you fall into that job?
It was a long path. When I started going to school at CCAC Northside for administration of criminal justice, I A friend of mine in Morgantown, West Virginia, was moving to Texas, and he's like, "Hey, I have this Chinese water dragon. You want it?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." So I started taking care of this Chinese water dragon, and then
what is that? Is that a fish?
It's a reptile.
Oh, okay.
It's a reptile,
Wow.
and so they like high humidity. So I ended up getting a big 55-gallon tank and getting fish for it. Started getting into the fish, and I'm like, I kind of like this, and I ended up getting a job at a pet supply store, and one thing led to another. I fell in love with corals, and I started propagating corals in my basement with, metal halides and lights and VHO fluorescence. And a guy that I was at the pet store with, he and I just started our first business, which was a fish tank installation and service business.
Wow.
So we did that and quit the jobs there. We had maybe 60 clients. And it was high stress just because keeping all these animals alive all the time. You'd have power outages. I had a generator that I would bring to different places because you can lose $7,000.
My buddy lost his whole tank.
Oh yeah, you could lose $7,000 with a coral in a heartbeat.
We had a bad snowstorm, and he had all kinds of shit in there, and they were just gone.
Oh yeah, you can wipe out the entire tank.
It's crazy. It really is.
It was stressful. So my wife and I at the time didn't have any kids, but we had planned on it.
Yeah.
And so we got into that discussion, and I'm like, okay, I need something a little bit stable, but not as stressful. So I ended up applying to the education department at the zoo, and ended up getting a job there in the education department, and I enjoyed it. I love talking about animals, teaching about animals, but basically, at that point I had just devoured book upon book upon book about fish, corals, animals, anything I can get my hand on.
Yeah.
I wasn't formally trained. And so I was in the education department for about a year, and the curator of the aquarium came to. I did some work, did some educational programs up at the aquarium. So he knew that I knew my stuff, and he said, "Hey, there's a position becoming available. It's gonna be open. You should apply for it." And I said, "Well, I don't think I'm that qualified for it. My resume isn't that deep." And he's like, "Apply for it." So I said, "Oh, okay,
that's a good move."
Yeah. So I did, and got the job, and started working in the aquarium. Different zoos call them different things. We call them aquarists. They're called biologists at other zoo, marine biologists. But we were aquarists is the term that it used, but all the same thing.
Wow.
So I did that for about 10 years, but we all had our passions. We had somebody whose passion was corals. We had somebody's passion that was the Amazon tank. Somebody's passion was the penguins. Mine, I ended up falling into the octopus. Just absolutely thought they were amazing. The octopus keeper, she ended up getting promoted and leaving. So I ended up taking over. That was my main tank. But everybody else had, other stuff. I did the Stingray Touch tank. I did, so everybody had kind of their thing. I ran a lab, did all the water quality, did all the water testing, and ended up assisting in the building of Water's Edge exhibit, helping out with all the life support. There was a company in town for about 3 years that were building all the pipes, all the ozone, the filtration, so I ended up working hand in hand with them.
Since you had that experience because you started that tank company.
Yeah. Wow. So I did that, and it was great. It was a great experience. I ended up, I would work with them. I went down to Virginia Beach Aquarium, and they did an expansion down there, and they were like, "Hey, can you take a couple weeks leave from Pittsburgh and come down and help us, and then teach the biologists down there how to use the systems?" So I was like, "Sure." So I took 2 weeks leave and went down to Virginia Beach for a couple weeks and worked with them down there.
That is unreal.
And then, my light bulb moment was I'm walking my dog down Butler Street and went, "Why isn't there a pet supply store down here?" I always tell
That's
people,
really what happened?
Yeah, if you could see me from across the street, you would have literally seen a light bulb above my head. It was like, bing, and I'm looking at this empty storefront, and there was the
same one you're in now?
No.
Okay.
There was a for lease, and I'm like, so I dial up the number, and the gentleman answers, and he's like, that's already taken, but come on in and let's have a chat. So we ended up chatting for about an hour, and he was like, I don't know if your business plan is, but we'll talk about it. Ends up, I ended up at a different spot. And so, look, I'm a big believer in sometimes you end up where you belong.
Yeah.
And I definitely found the spot for me. My landlord is amazing. She's great. You've
been in the same spot 8 years?
Yeah. And I have definitely outgrown it, but I really like my landlord so much. We have a great relationship. And my identity is there.
Yeah.
But I could definitely, it's based on, if you've seen my store.
Yeah.
It's based on stores in Manhattan that I've been in.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff is piled to the ceiling. I hate to say when people come in and say, do you have a crate or do you have a carrier? Do you have a litter box? No, I can get it. In this day and age, if you press a button and it's there the next day, people aren't waiting.
Yeah, for sure.
So I
guess that's a good point. That's a good point because people want it now. So,
yep.
What's going to stop them from just going on Amazon and getting it tomorrow?
Yeah. And look, I depend on the neighborhood for support.
Absolutely.
My business, my base is 4 or 5 miles radius of my store. And they want to support local business. They really, all of Butler Street is, for the most part, no real chains. It's all local independents, and the neighborhood wants that. That's what the neighborhood wants, and they want to support local. But I'm also understanding, and I'm like, well, okay, I don't have any doggy diapers in stock right now. You're gonna have, and they'll order them, and I get it.
Yeah.
So,
but you have with the space within the space you have maximized what you could put in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously you can't put an extra large crate just stored around.
Yeah.
It takes up a good bit of space. So you probably developed what people need there. Your obvious foods.
Yep.
And it's interesting, like you said, a local community has their pet supply store within a certain radius, and that makes a lot of sense. So you were walking down the street, you saw this, and you were at the zoo whenever you thought of this?
Yeah.
And I mean, what gives you the gall to just jump from that and open the store?
I always, I'll bring my wife into it here. I always say, we've been together for, we've been a couple for over 30 years, I guess now.
30 years?
Yeah, we've been married for 24.
Congrats.
Thank you. And I always say, she's not a risk taker. She'll dip her foot in a pool and never jump in.
She's calculated.
Yeah, I'll jump in without checking for water. So I come home and I'm like, we're opening it up. We're going to open up a pet superstore down in Lawrenceville. And she's like, whoa, so she's like, no, what are you talking about? And it took a little bit of like calming down. Okay. Putting some numbers together. And I'm like, look, this is what we can start it with.
Yeah.
I kind of calmed down, she calmed down, and we went, okay, and she's always been just amazing in the fact that she's never wanted to not say no to me, but she's never wanted to say like, I don't want you to regret not doing this.
Yeah. She's not opposing your dreams, but she's keeping your head out of the clouds and on the ground within reason.
For sure.
That's very much my wife. And you got to love them. We're blessed to be able to say that we got them in our corner.
Hey, you got a studio in your basement, so you're doing
that's
all right.
what I mean. My wife is, God love her for what she allows me to do with all this. For my first 4 years of doing this podcast, I would kick her out every Monday, and I would kick her out for 3 hours in the evening, and she didn't have places to go.
Yeah.
Sometimes she would sit in her car and just sit on her phone. And now we look at that, and it makes it mean so much more. But yeah, we're lucky guys to be able to say we got that.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you're right. Yeah, she keeps me grounded. And I put together a business plan, and we looked at a couple things, and I went to get a business loan, and the loan officer was great. He was like, so you own a house in Stanton Heights? And I said, yeah. He said, it's, you're paid off. And I said, yeah, we own it. And he's like, don't get a small business, take out a mortgage. You'll get a much better rate. And I was like, thank you. And we're pretty much, after our first year in the black. So, the neighborhood responded, and I owe a lot to the neighborhood. That's why I'm there.
That's what I was going to say. So, I mean, you've obviously been there your entire life. So, I mean, I feel like that speaks a lot about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah. We've watched the neighborhood. We've watched it grow. And it's been amazing. It's been an amazing transformation. Honestly, for good and for bad sometimes. I mean, we've lost some of the population down there that does make it special. But affordable housing was passed. I don't think it's a great start to keep the neighborhood how we want it. But it's not enough. So, we love the neighborhood because of the diversity and because it's the people that make it special.
Yeah, there's character in it.
Yep, for sure.
It adds the culture to it.
Yep.
And that makes a lot of sense. Now, whenever that was always just, that was your idea, was you always wanted it to be in Lawrenceville?
Oh yeah. I didn't want just a pet supply store, and I didn't want just a store in Lawrenceville. I wanted a pet supply store in Lawrenceville.
Yeah, you wanted to add that to the community.
Yep. And it was needed. I mean, like I said, it was I remember the day I stopped and I'm with my dog and I went, there are so many dogs down here. And that was another thing. When I opened up, I had some cat stuff. But you don't see the cats.
Yeah. You don't ever see cats being walked on leashes.
I sell cat leashes.
I mean, I see, the only reason I see it is I will see a random TikTok video pop up, and this chick has this like crazy huge long haired, got to be like a Maine Coon cat, and it just walks around on this leash.
Yeah,
acts like a dog. And I've never seen it in real life, but I've seen people with the backpacks with the cats.
Yep. They come into my store. They look like little moon landing things, and they're like peeking at the plexiglass, like with
you
their
don't
eyes
even
wide
notice
open.
it and then it pops in. But it's cool to be able to want to have that drive to add to the community, to kind of be involved, because I mean it's definitely a passion project for anyone that starts anything. As people would know, I mean, a lot goes into it, especially if you have a cool job where you're working at the zoo and you're doing things that are of interest to you.
Yeah.
So, it takes a lot to be able to jump and do that. Now, the community of Lawrenceville, I think it says in itself, like you go down there now, and like you said, there's good and there's bad at everything, but there's way more good, I would say.
Yeah.
I walked through a good bit of it this weekend whenever I came down and grabbed the gingerbread, and, I was taking some videos and just looking around. And I personally have never really spent a lot of time down there. I spent time down there whenever we would go to certain reasons for me to go down there, but just to walk around, I mean, like, it's beautiful. Everything looks beautiful down there. It's it's just people are outside, everyone's buzzing around.
Yep.
It's just been beautiful weather down there, and I mean, you can't really ask for more than that.
Yeah, I today I walked my dog 9 miles, and I come down out of Stanton Heights, and we stop at my store, but we go all the way. We walk all the way down Butler Street, and it's fun. It is its own small community. People, people, people drive by and they're beeping, they're waving, you're saying hi to the business owners. It's like, I always say it's like Mayberry with like bars and tattoo parlors, but like, everybody is, it's a very friendly place. Everybody's invested. Whether it's business owners that do close up and go off to the suburbs, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're invested in that neighborhood too. So, they have their businesses down there. So they want the business community to thrive. And in order to have that, you have to have a strong community and strong residents. And they both feed off of each other. So everybody has a stake in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've, in the past, I've talked to people that have businesses in Lawrenceville, but ultimately the reason that you and I came together is because the Cookie Tour that's happening.
Yes, sir.
The Cookie Tour is, full disclosure, it's something that I didn't know much about. As a Pittsburgher, I've been doing this for 6 years now, and it blows my mind that I still have have people that are just telling me things that have been around for 2 decades that I just never heard about. And, I feel almost upset that I have been missing out on it for, these past few years. So, can you give me an idea, break me down what the Cookie Tour is?
So do we want to start with the history? Let's just talk about what it is.
Yeah. Talk about what it is. Cause I looked up some history of it as well.
Yeah. So, it'll be this year. It's December 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
And it is from noon to 5. And last year we had, I'm not sure how many participating businesses we're up to right now, but people still have time to register. But last year, I believe we had the most ever cookie stops, which was 50.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then I think we had 10 rest stops. So the difference is the cookie stops. Participating businesses will have a gingerbread man in the window. There also will be a Cookie Tour map that you can reference, and it's stopping in these businesses, and they will have cookies. I do pizzelles. We'll talk about those.
Yeah.
But we have our pizzelles. We've been doing pizzelles since we've opened for 7 years, and so you go in and you grab a cookie. Some businesses are a lot more strict than others. I make a lot of pizzelles. It's time consuming, but for me, it's just the joy of
labor of love.
It is. It's sharing my pizzelles.
Yeah.
And I love it. Other businesses, they'll have somebody, and rightfully so, again, they put a lot of time and effort into these cookies, and they'll have somebody there giving one cookie. Here's your one cookie.
Yeah.
And again, that's absolutely fine. But I'm a little bit liberal on my pizzelles because I make a lot of them. And I hand it. Family members get them, neighbors get them. I just make up a whole ton of them. And it's a joyous occasion. It's to get people out. It's to get people in the streets, to make people happy. But it is also to get these businesses recognized. And like you said about never really going to Lawrenceville and hanging out. If you're just driving through, or if you've never realized the great little small businesses that are there. There are so many. There's a large, diverse group of businesses down there, and it's about stopping into these businesses, giving them some love, hanging out. My store. I always use the example of even if people don't have a dog or a cat. On the way in or way out, you always hear, "Oh, my grand dog would love that," or people can always find something. There's a couple places like Una. Una's a great place. Just has some amazing, handmade soaps and lotions and things like that. So there's some great businesses that have some unique products that you'd never really know about unless you stopped and took the time to go in. Sometimes we're in just such a big hurry to go get our nails done or get our hair done or go get our wedding dress that we're not stopping and going, oh, I didn't even know this was here.
Absolutely.
Bohem's one of our neighbors. I think they have 25 different vendors in their shop. And they all do, there's vintage, there's, I believe there's Electric Cat. She does a great, acrylic things, earrings, stickers, all kinds of just amazing stuff. So, you can go and you can spend a day in there alone.
It's pretty incredible. Like we were saying, I never frequented down there a lot, but this weekend I really was just walking through and, kind of taking it in and just noticing these places that I was going into, that I never really knew that they were there. And like you were saying, we often go down to places with a destination in mind. You're going to a restaurant, you go to the restaurant, you get out, but it's not often that I just go down there to just say, I'm going to walk down, this whole road and just see what's in there. And I was just popping in and out of places.
Yeah.
And, it's fun to see that. And, we were talking about the Cookie Tour and, it's a weekend event, 9th and 10th. And as you were saying, it's cool to be able to, go down and get some free cookies, but that's not just the reason that we're talking about it. The reason is to, bring a community, obviously the community of Lawrenceville is the community of Lawrenceville, but this is a way to bring other communities into Lawrenceville and kind of get that exposure that you might not know that's down there. Like me, for instance, I was kind of blown away by all the different places that were there. You know, I was looking at the list of all the cookie stops, and it's incredible because all these different places, you could walk into 50 places, and yeah, you can get in the door by getting a cookie, but like while you're in there, look around. You know, this weekend is an opportunity to be thoughtful. You know, the holidays are coming up, and as a small business owner yourself, it's like, how do you prepare for, you know, I know that it's a busy time. You know, you're getting ready for Black Friday, and Black Friday up until, I'm sure it's getting crazy now with the holidays, but Black Friday up until Christmas time,
yeah,
you know, it got to be just nuts.
Oh, it is, and it builds. You know, so we're going to be. Probably next week. I'll be starting to bring all my holiday gear up.
Yeah.
Now I don't sell a whole lot of you know, bandanas and stuff like that. You know, there are places that do. I believe that Salty Paws sells some of that stuff. They're fantastic there. There's a little shop. I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately.
I don't need themed stuff as a pet owner.
Yeah.
I'm happy with a bag of food or something. It's crazy.
So yeah, we have plenty of that, but I keep Rubbermaids of stuffed elves and stockings and things like that in my basement. So I'll be bringing them up shortly, because you know how that retail business works is you know, I'm buying Christmas stuff in May. So
that makes sense.
So that's when all the stuff comes out, and then they end up shipping it to you, the different distributors. So yeah, it's a whole thing, and it does build. And I also I'll start making my pizzelles this weekend, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to, right?
Yep.
And just start loading them up.
Other than the fact that it's a family recipe, that I'll give a shout out to my granddaughter, who's over 100 years old now. She's it's kind of her recipe.
That's
and
the best.
They used to, up until COVID hit, my mother and my grandmother would make them for me.
Yeah.
But my mother has bad knees, and well, my grandmother's 100. So I took over. Last year was the first year we were back in full swing. After
the cookie tour, you mean?
Yeah. After COVID, yet last year was the first like non-hybrid year.
Yeah,
and it was. I had to stop on Saturday just to stop and take it all in, because it was just.
It becomes crazy down there.
Yeah, it was so great to see everybody back after what had happened.
Yeah.
To see so many people on the streets.
People just looking for an excuse to get out.
Yeah,
and just,
exactly.
Enjoy it.
Yep. And it was a perfect storm last year, because it was a little bit chilly on that Saturday, but it was just a blue sky, beautiful day, people walking around. We did have last year, there's a difference this year with our trolley system. Last year we had one trolley zooming around, having our tram stops and dropping people off. Penn Avenue, let's not forget about the Penn Avenue corridor.
Yeah.
It's not just Butler Street. It is, we do have cookie stops and rest stops on the Penn Avenue corridor all the way up to Chantel's, which is up near, right across from Children's Hospital. So we want to make sure people get up there. And the trolley does go up there this year. Because last year it was very popular last year, and we had, when's the trolley coming? And we're like, it's coming soon. This year we have two.
Nice.
Both days, Saturday and Sunday, we have two trolleys, so we'll cut that wait time down in half. So yeah, we have two trolleys this year.
So we said that this is starting at noon.
Yep.
Now, and this goes from which block to which block? Is it like 56 or something?
It's
over 30 blocks of cookie tables.
Yeah. There's I think officially the start of Lawrenceville is, I think 33rd or 35th, right after the Strip, right down near the Clemente Museum.
Yeah.
Right near Doughboy Square, and it runs all the way up till let's see, there's the Rolling Pepperoni, I think, is the last business probably in Lawrenceville. That's up by the 62nd Street Bridge, the R.D. Fleming Bridge.
Yeah.
But I believe I think the tram doesn't go down that far. I think we use a parking lot, which is also parking. We have the permission for the Rite Aid parking lot at 3939 Butler Street. We have Tech Mill, which is off of 40th Street in Willow. We have the Goodwill parking lot at the end of 52nd Street. We're waiting for word on Busy Beaver and Dollar Bank. They're usually pretty cool with us opening up that for parking, but I don't want to tell people to park there because I don't think we have permission just yet.
Yeah.
we certainly encourage, it keeps traffic down. If you use public transportation, you'll get in and out a little bit easier, but we do have different parking spots down there.
Better for the environment.
Absolutely. I'll be buzzing around on my e-bike down there. So
oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. There's also the pogos. People can jump on a pogo. There's one right on 52nd Street, right at the corner where my store is. There's a nice pogo stop down there. I believe there's one down by 39th, I believe. So yeah, there's a couple pogo stops where
we got options here.
We got
options for the cookie tour.
Absolutely.
We know how Lawrenceville is, take in consideration with parking there, but there's 2 trolleys now. So that's what that's what I was going to ask about, was the trolleys.
Yep.
So we got that covered. There's stops that are going to take you to the upper Lawrenceville, to lower Lawrenceville, to the Butler corridor. So you don't have to be walking too far, but if you want to, that's a good way to walk it off.
And again, the trolleys, make it clear, there's no fee for the trolleys. They are free all day. You can jump on a trolley and get off at a stop. But honestly, if you're up to it and you can do it, walking's the best way, because you're gonna, I'm not saying don't take the trolley, because it's a great way to get up to the Penn Avenue corridor.
Yeah.
But if you
can cover more ground if you're on foot.
Yep, and you'll miss stuff.
Yeah.
If you're on the trolley and you're going, oh, what was that?
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
you miss these different spots.
Keep your eyes open.
If you got like 50 different spots that's handing out cookies, and then there's also the take a break spots, which are, the places that you could kind of, get some food, grab some beer, do whatever you need like that. I can't remember how many she said there was of that, but 3 or 4 maybe.
Yeah, right now? At least. And they'll usually offer some kind of special, a hot chocolate, something like that. They usually do.
This is, this is a pretty crazy performance. Like, this is a big thing that's going on. And, this started in what, 97?
Yeah. So it started, and I actually just met with one of the people that started it.
Really?
He's a customer of mine. So he worked at J Design. So that's where it originates from. In 1997, it's J Design Soaps and Gifts, Swoon Vintage, the Gallery on 43rd Street, and Crystal Bead. They all kind of got together and decided, hey, let's do this and start getting some people down here.
Yeah, create something for the community.
Yeah, and they hosted some friends and family and things like that, and it kind of grew, and then it started to become a competition, and it's really morphed through the years. The Cookie Mall started in 2002, and we'll talk a little bit about that. I have some information that is run now by Lawrenceville United, who's our sister organization. That will be at the Boys and Girls Club.
And what is the Cookie Mall?
So the Cookie Mall is
because I saw originally it started and then they took it away and then it went back because people were going nuts.
Yeah. So the Cookie Mall they'll have a bunch of cookies you can buy.
Yeah.
And it's all goes toward nonprofits.
Oh, that's great. So it's a bake sale.
Yeah, it's a bake sale is exactly what it is, and that is at the Estelle S. Campbell Boys and Girls Clubhouse. That's at 4600 Butler Street. So Saturday the 9th, it'll be from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So that includes the nonprofit bake sale, the kids' holiday party, and there's gift giveaways and pictures with Santa from 1:30 to 3:30.
And that's at the Boys Club.
That's at the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
And then there's a tree lighting ceremony right in front of Allegheny Cemetery. It's right between Allegheny Cemetery and the Boys and Girls Club. So there's a giant evergreen tree right there.
Yeah.
And they have it all lit up with lights. So the tree ceremony will be at 4:30.
Oh, cool. So from 1 to 4:30, there's stuff to do down there.
Yep.
The Cookie Mall sounds incredible.
Yeah. So you can go and get a bunch of cookies that you pay for.
This is I feel like a veteran move is, to give back to the community, but you could also go there. You can get all your Christmas cookies done. If you're going to a family's house for Christmas, that's what we do usually. It's like we're usually, bringing cookies, I usually been baking banana breads, but I might just go there and clean them out with cookies and, take them to different places. But, so, starting this in 97, I guess, we talked about it just being like a way for the community to get together. And then, the cookies got incorporated a little bit later.
Yeah.
Now, Pittsburgh and Western, Southwestern Pennsylvania is, that's synonymous with cookie tables.
I say it's Pittsburgh's biggest cookie table.
Do you know why? Do you know where the origin of the cookie table came from?
No, I don't know. That's something that you need to school me on.
Okay. So I did some research. All right. Rooted deep in the history of Western Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Eastern Ohio lies the beloved cookie table. To the folks in these parts of the country, a wedding without a cookie table is like having a wedding without a bride and groom. Pointless. The wedding cookie table has strong ethnic and religious ties linked mainly to European immigrants of Catholic descent, particularly present in industrial areas that house Italians, Greeks, and other Europeans. Although the beginning of the cookie table is debatable, it is believed that the sweet sensation has been around since the Great Depression. It has been implied that the cookie table grew in popularity during this time because it offset the cost of purchasing a wedding cake, due in large part to the family and friends who baked for the wedding. So, what makes the cookie table so special? Aside from keeping the tradition alive, the wedding cookie table gives families and loved ones the opportunity to show their love and adoration for the newlyweds through working with their hands. Now, this is it kind of makes sense to me now that I was like curious and where the cookie table comes from, because, it's weird for us because, like it said, any wedding without a cookie table is pointless, like a wedding without a bride and a groom.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know. It's weird to think that that's not a thing somewhere else, but it makes sense. Like, it's an excuse for people to come together. So it's kind of full circle with the reason that, the cookie tour is happening now.
Yeah, and it goes with the theme that everybody's contributing. Just like all the family members would bring cookies, all the businesses are bringing cookies.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like I said, some businesses it's a labor of love. But and once again, not to knock it, it's a lot of work that you'll find some store-bought cookies out there.
Yeah.
Our friends at Lowlev are now they're bringing in some real good cookies, but they're brewing a beer with cookies in it.
Oh, wow.
So the beer will have a rich malty flavor of gingerbread amaretti cookies. This will be paired with the amaretti cookies. Other than adding cookies straight to the brewing process, what makes this beer unique is Belgamalt malt from Belgium. They have been infusing malts with different herbs and spices. The malt at low level they'll be using is infused with cinnamon, allspice, cloves, nutmeg, and ginger.
It's a holiday beer, if I've ever heard one.
I believe it's going to be. I think they said it's going to be like a holiday brown ale. But yeah, they're gonna have their cookie tour beer which they haven't named yet, and they're gonna have cookies to hand out. So it's neat things like that make it special, where people really do take pride in what they're giving out.
Yeah, they go the extra step.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, who's gonna complain about a store bought cookie?
Yeah,
You know what
I mean, take your cookie.
Yeah, come on. You're going there for some cookies. Now, it's understandable that, you mentioned this briefly in the beginning. It's like some places are, particular about handing out a certain amount.
Yeah.
And I mean, we got to remember not to, we have to remember to keep some for the other people. It's like, who's going in there rolling in with a whole container and just like trying to clean people out? It's like, I would hope that anyone that's coming is not trying to do that. I mean, there's 50 stops, so you can that's 50 cookies if you get one at each stop. That's crazy.
That's 50 cookies.
Yeah, it's 50 cookies.
Yep.
What do you need 50 cookies for?
And we do have people that bring, little Tupperwares and bags and things like that. And that's fine. I don't want to say it's a controversial issue, but we've had some rumblings about it, but I think if you're taking the allotted amount, throw them in your Tupperware. I don't care if you bring a Tupperware into my store, go for it. But as long as you're not grabbing handfuls of cookies, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah. Come on now. We gotta keep it within reason. Now, you being this business owner that's down there, it's like, what is what are the ramp up for the holidays down there like? I mean, like, do you see like a gradual increase with traffic down there? Yeah,
there's certainly more foot traffic, especially, people were down there Christmas shopping, holiday shopping before the cookie tour, before the cookie tour date. But
there's some stores that are already decorated.
Absolutely, positively, and everybody kind of gets into the spirit. It's a lot of fun. It is, and it's like I said, the neighborhood is warm. It's warm. It's welcoming, and there's definitely a ramp up of people coming down there. We definitely get a boost through the holidays. I do, my store, I specialize in pet nutrition and healthy products for dogs, but I also have tons of toys and stuffies and things like that people are going to kind of, pick up on the way in or the way out and sporadically buy.
Yeah.
So, we definitely see a bump.
How has this grown over the years? Like when did Lawrenceville get involved with the Cookie Tour?
Not sure when. Well, that's a good point. We never actually talked about my position or what Lawrenceville Corporation is.
Yeah.
I'm on the board of Lawrenceville Corporation. I've been on the board for, I believe, 4 years now. I'm serving my second term. I was brought on to kind of be the chair of the business district committee. They were, before I came on board, it's a community development corporation, and before I came on, they were very focused on affordable housing, which is incredibly important, but they not as much anymore on the business district. They did have a business district manager, but she was doing a lot of work for the housing and things like that, which once again super important. But basically, we spun that off for Community Land Trust and City of Bridges, and now they're their own separate entity. So once that got established, we were able to really focus back on the business community. And Abby Gilday, who is our business district manager, her and I work pretty closely together. Then we have an amazing business district committee. We have some real dedicated business owners down there that show up, for these meetings and have just amazing ideas. And then we actually have a spinoff of that, which is the Cookie Tour committee, and we convened that in September. So we've been working on the Cookie Tour since September. That's where my real involvement is, not just as a business owner, but being the chair of the business district committee. So I have, I get to have my hands in it. And I have, once again, I love the neighborhood, love the community, love the residents, love the businesses. And this is one way that I can, it's a volunteer board. It's one way I can give back, though.
That's and that speaks to also why you're a great person to have on to talk about this, because you're involved in it that way as well, but you're also involved in it as a business owner. But so the Cookie Tour the Cookie Tour committee came through in September.
Yeah, we I don't want to say we broke off of the business district committee, but we were like, okay, who's interested in the cookie, so
allocating resources.
Yep,
that's it.
Yep. And so we can really uber focus on, and that's how we found you.
Yeah.
I was walking my dog again. I walk him a lot. I'm walking my dog, and I was on a Zoom meeting with the committee and with the subcommittee, and we were just looking at alternative ways to get the word out. And I've listened to your podcast before, and I was like, "Hey, how about that guy?" And and Abby took it and ran with it, and she's the one that was able to contact you, and the story from there.
I appreciate it. Like things like this is exactly why I want to be involved with things like that. Like it's I'm honored to even be in the thought of being a resource to kind of echo someone's cause to the community.
Yeah.
I've like you said, you love the community, you work very hard at it, you want to be a part of the community. I very much am the same in that regard, where, except my community is just everyone. I'm trying to do everything I can to talk to all these different people that are doing these incredible things. And, I really do appreciate the opportunity to be involved with this in that way, because, this is a fun thing. Who doesn't like a cookie tour? Who doesn't like having a little retail therapy?
Yeah.
And, personally, I love the holidays. Like I love shopping during the holidays. Like I said, it's an excuse to be thoughtful. Like I always take, immense pride in my gift giving. And, this is a cool way to, involve, to make it all clash together.
Yeah.
You go down there's all these different places. You can grab a bite to eat, grab some cookies, kind of get involved in that way. And, it's cool that, that this kind of is still something that's going on all these years later. It's 26th season.
Yeah. And it's and I love the spirit of it, and it's fantastic. And again, you blink, you're going to miss something. Cork Harbor, I think last year, Cork Harbor had Irish stew that they had down there.
That's insane.
I think it was all homemade. It was great. And again, it's not just Butler Street, and it's not just Penn Avenue. It's some side streets. Cork Harbor's off off of, I believe, I can't remember, 43rd. Don't get mad at me, Cork Harbor. I think it's off of 43rd. But yeah, they had Irish stew. They had a line out the door. And that's what it was. That's why it makes me so happy, one, to see all the patrons down there just smiling, having a blast, having a great time. And it's also great to see just so much commerce, so much business coming to Lawrenceville. It's just great on so many levels. And, and the only people that are the only money that's being made are these hardworking businesses. It's all we run it as from our nonprofit. Nobody's getting any money off of it except for the businesses that are working their butts off to make the cookies and get the cookies, and so it's really the spirit of it.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's a cool reason to it's a great way to like have people come in. It's a great reason to, generate interest. I mean, like you lure people in with cookies, it's a modern day trap, you know what I mean? You go through, but like we were saying yesterday, it's like I was walking around and I think I've been into a couple places down there, for certain reasons, but I'm walking into these different buildings like City Grows.
Yeah.
What a cool store that is.
They're great.
I stopped at your store and I picked up the gingerbread, and then I was like, let's just start walking through, and to see these different places, that's just a perfect example. It's like, I've never known that was down there, but I know I'm not the best plant keeper. I'm really not, but I have so many friends that are, and they probably know about it, but if they don't, like, that's such a great store.
Look, City Grows is a great resource. And, I get, and it's businesses doing businesses with businesses. I grow organic cat grass.
Yeah.
And that's where I get my soil. So I throw a sign on the door that says "Be back in 10 minutes," and I when I need soil, and I run down to City Grows and I get a bag of soil, and I come back and do my cat grass. So it's we all support each other.
Yeah,
and that's just it's a wonderful thing.
How did you generate this network? As the Lawrenceville committee, like how does this network get generated as far as the people that participate in this event? So
in the cookie tour in general, it is businesses do pay to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Lawrenceville Corporation is a membership organization. But that being said, I always tell people that to get help from us, you don't need to be a member. I met with a tattoo artist that was she's opening up a shop. She already has one, but she's waiting for her permanent property to become open down there.
Yeah.
And she was having some questions about permitting, occupancy permits, things like that. I caught wind of that, and I went to our president, and he is very in the know. He's an architect and also does work with the zoning board, so he really knows his stuff. So I shot him an email, and he called me, and he's like, "Hey, look, here's what triggers the occupancy permits. So I was able to sit down with her at Mediterra.
Fantastic.
Oh, that place is wonderful.
We stopped by there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. You can't mention their name without saying how great they are.
Also a cookie tour stop.
Yeah, absolutely. They were such a welcome addition. We missed B52. B52 was great. But Mediterra it's such a welcome place in Lawrenceville. It's fantastic.
And a great place to go to take people to meet for business.
For sure. Yeah, I've met there a couple times. But yeah, Michelle is her name. Her tattoo place, and we like I said, we talked for an hour and a half, and she's not a member. She plans on becoming a member.
Yeah.
But that's not how we operate.
Yeah,
it's not like you gotta be a member and pay us some cash before we help you.
It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like that you are a resource for everyone. But if you want to be involved on a different level within the community, it's an option to expand on that.
Yeah.
And to because obviously this community is putting on these events, and even if you're not part of this community, even if you're not a cookie stop, you're still gonna generate some interest from this from this community, event that's happening.
I'll tell you a secret. I was when I first opened up my business, and I was like pinching pennies and worried about, I was a rogue cookie stop. I was like, I got cookies in here, but I didn't have my official gingerbread man. I think for the first 2 years, I was like a rogue cookie stop. I wasn't on the map, but I was like, No,
but I like that you said that, where it's not like a secret club where you have to foot the bill before you can get any information on it. It's like you sound like a great guy to be able to want to help people, because ultimately rising tides lift all boats.
For sure. And I think you did a podcast with Steve Fat Butcher. Did you? Yeah. So
Steve Dawes.
Yeah. And he's a great example. I knew he was looking for a spot for his butcher shop, and I know the property owner who redid the building across the street. So I got them together, and boom, we have a.
He's the one who told me about your spot.
Yeah. So we all support each other. I had a big summer party. He was there. I had from our house you could see the 4th of July fireworks. So we have a big party every year, and we invite friends and relatives and neighbors, business owners. We had, Chantel Cheese, those folks were there, and Steve the Butcher was there. And, we had just we had so many different business owners. The guys from Low Lev came, and, it was great. And we had residents and business owners all mingling, and people going, "Oh, I never got the opportunity to meet this person."
Yeah,
and,
a good networking event.
Yeah. It was fantastic. We did I roasted a 45-pound pig that I got from the Fed Butcher. Yeah, we did.
You did it yourself?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So I have
spit.
No, it's called like a Cuban box, and it super cooks the pig.
Wow.
So yeah, it's wooden, but there's stainless, or there's like a
lining,
sheet metal on top.
Wow.
And so you put the pig inside, you throw the charcoal on top, you burn a bag of charcoal, take it off, flip the pig, do another bag of charcoal, you're good to go. Took us about 3.5 hours for a 45-pound pig.
No way.
Comes out fantastic.
We had a roasted pig. We had a whole roasted pig at our wedding.
There you go.
They were like, this is the cheaper choice. And I was like, cheaper? I was like, I don't care about that. It's going to be way better. The other thing was like chicken marsala or something. Yeah. And it's like,
let's do the pig.
Yeah, come on. I want a pig. I want a big ass pulled pork sandwich. That's the best part.
Well, you're invited for next year.
That's perfect. Well, that's cool that, I mean, it's cool to see that this is an event that's been going on for that long.
Yeah.
It's cool to see that it's an event that, generates this much. Like, how many people do you think come? Is it insane?
It's way into the thousands. I mean, I think 1 year we were estimating maybe 20,000 people, but I think that's
ridiculous.
I think that was 1 year we went nuts, and we had it like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was the only time we did like 3 days. And I'm like, so I'm driving down the hill down to my store on that Friday, and I'm like, I don't know if we're going to really get people out on this Friday. It was like 10:30. I opened up at 11. I make the turn onto Butler Street, and it was like the cookie zombies were out. I was like, these people are already here. It was a Friday morning at 10:30, and they were walking the streets. So it's amazing. It's
you got
great.
early birders there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. And that's another tip is, sometimes I think it was Arsenal 201, that I went down to check on, because I'm off. I take that Saturday off. My employee works for me, and I just buzz around to make sure anybody needs anything.
Yeah,
you got
smoothly.
maps. You got, I'll ride the trolley for a while. I'll do different things. And I was down at Arsenal 201 handing out maps, and they ran out of cookies. And they're like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, they did have lots of hot chocolate to give away.
That's good.
But if you, we give estimates on how many cookies you should make.
What do you tell them?
So up at my end, 90 dozen. I made 90 dozen last year, and I sat through the main day that I made them. I started off and I watched an entire Pitt football game making pizzelles, and then an entire Penguin game right after that. And the whole time I'm in my kitchen with the TV on, watching a Pitt game and a Penguin game, just sitting there cranking out pizzelles. But we up at my end, which is 10th Ward or Upper Lawrenceville. I don't want to say we don't get the numbers, but It's not wall to wall.
Yeah, but up on like.
So we're looking at like 90 dozen. Down in Central and Lower.
Yeah, like right where like row house and all that stuff is.
You could do 100, 120 dozen. Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. That's how many cookies you go through.
Now let me ask you this. I saw that there's going to be a cookie tour cup.
Oh yeah, we're bringing that back.
Now that was around for a while.
It was. And
who were some of the people that took that home?
Well, I'll give a shout out to Jess. She's very proud of her win. Jess from Una.
Oh, okay.
She's a former winner, and after she won, I forget who that was, and then it kind of fizzled out again, and then there was COVID, and then so that was one of the things that the Cookie Tour subcommittee was like.
How does that get decided?
So we're gonna it'll be voting. I don't know if we've come down on a hard line of how it's going to be voted. We were talking about whether you could do a poll online or if we're going to have paper. We want it to be easy for people.
Yeah.
We don't want you
to be able to participate.
Yeah, we don't want you to have to. We're not asking these people that are getting the cookies to spend 10 minutes downloading an app and trying to. Like if we can find an easy way to do it, we're going to try to find the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I like that.
But I hear the Pitzels are front runners.
No, I like that. This is a crazy event, but I like that it's you could tell that it's a passion project. There's passion behind it
for sure.
You guys care about it.
Yep.
And it's like it's a good reason to care about it. I go down Lawrenceville. I get my hair cut all the time, and it's like it's a cool place. I'm excited to be down there and buzz around and see what all is going on. I'm going to definitely ride my bike down there that day.
And so, you know what? We didn't hit on how much it cost. So it cost, and that's how we got on the membership part is, and I kind of got in the weeds there. Forgive me, Abby, I don't have the numbers here, but I think it's maybe $75 to be a Cookie Tour stop for non-members, and then $50 for members.
How do people get involved with that?
So we have online registration through Lawrenceville Corporation. If you're a business, you can get on Lawrenceville Corporation's website, and there's a portal for that, and you can pay with a credit card, you can pay with a debit card.
When's the deadline till?
I think 2 days ago, but
if you guys want to be involved with the Cookie Tour after hearing this, reach out. I'm sure they'll make it happen.
We can fit you in. We even have people even after the map is made. People, because the map's not the be all end all. If you gotta look, if you have a gingerbread man in your window, people are coming in.
That's the bat signal.
Yep.
The gingerbread man means there's cookies inside.
Yep.
And then there's red stop signs.
The stop signs are for rest stops.
Yeah, the rest stops. And that's where you could sit down, have a siesta, fuel up, have another cookie, and find yourself a drink and everything. And it's going to be a good time. I'm excited about it. Now, let me ask you this. Whenever you yourself go down there, like, what are some cookies that you enjoy? Because I know that you make the pizzelles, but you told me these other cookies you have are...
Yeah, I have some... so these are... Let me reach it back here. So these are... Now let me get it straight. I don't want to mess them up. So Chantel Cheese on Penn Avenue, they have lemon goat cheese cookies, and the goat cheese is from Goat Rodeo Farm and Dairy in Allison Park.
I had both of those people on,
and I was going to say it's another local business supporting another local
Chantel's
business.
Cheese, fantastic person, fantastic business down there. Goat Rodeo, fantastic as well.
So we're going to have you try one of their cookies.
You said this is a lemon goat
cheese. And I believe that it's the icing that's the goat cheese.
Oh, I already know it's going to be good because I like a cheese. Okay, cheers.
Pairs perfectly.
It's too good. I love these types of cookies that are like the softer ones. Fantastic.
So I believe what Chris does, Chris is the one that makes them. And what he does, I believe he makes them and freezes them. And then brings them out because... I'm lucky. I'm leaving this whole bag with you, buddy.
I love that.
I'm gonna. So my pizzelles, they age well. So I make them up early and I put them in boxes and wax paper, and they sit in my my climate controlled basement.
Yeah.
So they're easy. But people that are making these Like these are awesome cookies, and
those are very tasty.
and they're made with goat cheese. So you have to take a lot of care with them. So yeah, I believe that he makes them up. Chris makes them up and freezes them because that's a lot of painstaking effort, and you're not going to make those up the day before the cookie tour.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite like what do you go after?
You know what? It's hard because I'm always working so hard, and
I mean, and not even on the tour, but like, what do you usually favor?
Well, I'm not a big sweets guy, but I'll tell you, and that's one of the reasons why I like one of the reasons I like my pizzelles that I make, because they're not. It's not like they're a super sweet cookie.
Yeah.
They have that anise punch.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Those are now. I know that Steve the Flat Butcher, he made up I think it was like a.
Was it the brown butter cookie?
No, it was like it had bacon in it.
Yeah,
it had bacon in it, and I had a woman come in, this poor woman, and she was super understanding. She came in my store. She says, "Do you have a garbage can?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "I have to spit this cookie." I'm like, "Oh my God, no!" And she's like,
"She can't have pork."
She's Jewish and she's vegan, and she ended up eating, and I'm like, oh,
he brought one of those for me. It was like a bacon rendered cookie with like brown butter or something. It was unreal.
Yeah, and she was like, it's delicious. I just can't eat it.
Now, oddly enough, so I was thinking today, and I was thinking of how interesting this would be. I want this to load real quick because I went on Reddit, and I went on the Pittsburgh subreddit, and I asked for a cookie survey. Now let's see. Hold on, let's see how crazy it is. 46 comments on this
nice.
on this subreddit, and what I asked was, take a second and participate in the cookie table survey. And I was like, I'm just looking for an idea what people like, what people dislike, and if I just go on here and I just look at the comments, we're just gonna. Okay, the first comment I see, not a true cookie table without pizzelles.
There you go. See?
And he said, and someone under it said, "Give me that anise," with an exclamation point. Okay, it says, there's a person that put a nice like breakdown of how many you would want for a wedding. So that's nice. That's a good resource. Must have Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Buckeyes. It says damn near anything that I would not turn down. People said caramel tassies. There was multiple people that said that. Never heard that.
Yeah.
Some people said leave your chocolate chips at home. I want the exotic. Snickerdoodle was their favorite. Least favorite oatmeal raisin.
Ooh, those are the imposters. They trick you. They make you think they're chocolate chips and they're raisins.
Wow, this person put all kinds on there. They said, some of the things that they don't like. Pizzelles are not that great.
Oh.
I mean, they look cool on the table, but anise, no. Mini cheesecakes was a big one. Multiple people said wine cookies. I've never heard of that. Wine cookies. Favorites: Lady Locks, baklava. Least favorite: chocolate chips. Anything with apricot. Favorite: peanut butter. Favorite: oatmeal raisin. So pretty much, across the board, people said that they loved the mini cheesecakes the most. They loved gobs. They loved things like that. But everyone loves cookies.
Yeah.
There was not one that was like overly, voted on that these suck, because that's basically what I wanted to come down to. It's like, what are cookies that people don't like anymore?
Now now that I'm thinking of it, when you were mentioning those, so my wife's family on her mother's side, they have a mean recipe for apricot kolaches.
I love them.
Yeah, so those I could eat those.
I'm eating another one of these lemon. These things are unreal.
Yeah.
Now how is there any people that like stand out for like what they have down there that like that stand out in your mind?
No, and like I said, my problem is, but now that you're mentioning this, I'm gonna take more time to go in stores and try out some cookies, because I'm always walking around working. So I'm hustling for Lawrenceville Corporation on Saturday, and then I'm in store on Sunday. So I'm gonna make it an effort this year to go in and try some cookies.
Yeah,
and
I feel like the people that run it, they gotta have a little bit of a say in what they vote on.
I'm gonna get my vote out too.
That's good. That's a good way to put this in. If you were looking for another way to vote, you get some celebrity people down there going through eating some cookies and putting their votes in. Get someone down there for that. But okay, is there anything you think that I forgot about the cookie tour? What other info you got there?
Let's see. I got some notes here. We went over the parking.
Yeah, we got it. So let's break down the parking again. There's a couple designated lots down there. You got the Rite Aid parking lot. Yep. You got the Goodwill parking lot. Yep. You got the
so Tech Mill is at 40th Street and Willow.
Tech Mill. Okay.
So the Rite Aid is pretty much right across the 40th Street Bridge. As soon as you come across, you're right there at the Goodwill.
So it's going to get picked up quick.
Potential is Busy Beaver and Dollar Bank.
Keep your ears peeled for that.
Yeah, and usually both those places are great. We have someone from Dollar Bank that sits on our board, and so we could usually get the okays for that. But
you got someone in the pocket.
Yeah. I don't want anybody parking there and getting in trouble. But those are still pending, but they're usually pretty cool about it. I did have the day of the life of the cookie tour, which we did. It's called I called the early bird special. So sometimes cookie stops will run out of signature cookies later in the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes these places I think the year that we ended up I text my mother an SOS one year on Saturday, and I was like, we are out of Pizzelles, and she started to factory back up, and my wife went out Saturday night and picked up another 10, 20 dozen Pizzelles for Sunday, because we had to make a mad scramble, and I still wanted to do Pizzelles, but we had to buy store-bought Pizzelles.
That's all right.
But
yeah,
just to get through Saturday. So sometimes places do run out of cookies.
Getting's good.
So we did have planned some must-see stops just in case the day gets away from you. If there are places that you definitely want to hit, look into it before you get down there. People go in blind, and that's fine. That's sometimes how you find the hidden gems. But if you look at it, you'll be able to say, okay, I want to stop at that place for sure. I want to stop at Wild Card.
Yeah.
Or I want to stop at Market House because they have a lot of little shops in there.
Yeah, we just went in there for the first time.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what that was before.
Yeah, it's the same folks that own Row House. So yeah, that's their place, and they have a lot of really cool small businesses. One of the people that owns one of the small businesses, and also I think she's the manager of she's on our business district committee.
Oh, okay.
So she's a great resource.
There was a store I went in that's a part of the cookie stores at Rosie's.
Rosie's Workshop.
Man, that place is cool as hell.
Yeah, they left. I forget where they were.
They were in the mall for a minute. They were in Ross Park Mall, I believe.
They got some crazy stuff in there.
Man, they have so much. I could spend all day in there. Cool stuff in there.
They're super awesome. They're really super nice people too. When they came into the community, they really wanted to be a part of it.
Well, I went in there and I didn't even, I saw it once in the mall there, but then I saw all the stuff down there now. They were they were getting all their Christmas stuff out.
Yeah. They've been in the neighborhood for a couple years now, and like I said, they really hit the ground running with wanting to be a part of the community and the business community. So they've been fantastic. Also, I've said give yourself in groups, because people come in groups.
Yeah.
People come down there with 4, 5, 6, 7 people. Give yourself a window for lunch and dinner. Sometimes there's a wait to be seated.
Yeah.
Because there is
makes sense.
There's a lot of people that come. And sometimes these bars and restaurants are, I don't want to say overwhelmed, because they know to staff it. But sometimes
call it as it is. If you got a lot of people down there, people are going to be sitting down for a nice meal.
There's only so many tables.
So
but yeah, give yourself some time, a window for lunch and dinner, so you're not caught off guard. And like I said before, prepare to walk a little bit if you want to see all that Lawrenceville has to offer. The trolleys are a great resource to get from one area to the other, but don't miss any of the little hidden jewels or the little shops. But like I said, do not forget about the Penn Avenue corridor. I believe Ineffable is doing cookies, or at least a stop. There's a neat little shop called Go Bop. Songbird Artistry.
Near
Chantel's. They're always a part of it. They're a fantastic resource too. They're super involved with Lawrenceville Corporation and the Cookie Tour as well.
Yeah, it's I mean, like there's so much. There's so many different stores, so many different things involved.
Yeah.
And then there's resources. We just got to be logical about the event.
Yeah.
You know, obviously there's going to be a lot of people down there. There's 2 trolleys. You know, park a little bit out. Get your walking shoes on, enjoy the day. That's the best way to go about this.
For sure.
You know? That's
for
all.
sure. Yeah. Get out. Like I said, keep your eyes open because there's a lot of really cool, neat little shops. There's some great furniture shops down there. Not that you're necessarily going to walk away with a cookie table with a dining room table, but you never know. Something might jump out at you.
Might jump out at you. All right. So, again, December 9th, December 10th, you could find more information, lvpgh.com /Cookie Tour 2023, Instagram at lvpgh_Cookie Tour, Facebook lvpgh Facebook LVPGH Cookie Tour, and you know how to use the internet. You know, Lawrenceville Cookie Tour. You'll find all the information.
Yeah.
Now, you think there's anything I forgot about that? You ready to move on to the ending segment?
No, I think we covered the cookie tour just great.
I think we did.
Yeah,
I think we got, you know, for the event and what it is, you know, I think we got it out there. I think people are going to know what it's a little bit more.
A
little bit more what it entails. Okay. But the ending segment that I do with everyone is an ending segment called Desert Island Questions. All right, so desert island questions. Whenever I give each guest 3 categories to take with them on a desert island until they until they starve to death and die. First category: 3 movies to take with you on a desert island. So we have to say, you know, you obviously have a business. You spoke on it. You spoke on it briefly, but you know we were here to talk about this cookie tour overall. Yeah. We need to get you back in here, talk a little bit more about, you know, expand a little bit more about the pet supply business,
sure,
and a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
But every time I have a guest on here, I ask these questions. But yeah, 3 movies that you would take with you on a desert island to use over and over and over, to watch over and over.
I'd say Shawshank Redemption.
Amazing.
Hoosiers and Goodfellas.
Okay, those are good. Those are good answers. Those were right off the rip. Shawshank would be one of mine as well. I'm a casino guy more than Goodfellas.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
They're all good.
Yeah.
Second category. Do you read it all?
Yeah. I've lost it a little bit just because the audiobooks are so easy.
Well, that's all right. You don't have to read, but do you have 3 books that you like?
Let's see. A Farewell to Arms. I will give a shout out to Brian Broom. He's an amazing author, Pittsburgh. He did a memoir called Punch Me Up to the Gods.
Brian Broom.
He's amazing. He is, I believe he teaches at Pitt. He also writes for, is it the Washington Times or Washington Post?
What is Punch Me Up to the Gods?
It's a memoir about pretty much his life growing up.
Wow.
It's absolutely out of this world. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and I'm not just saying it. I mean, it's amazing. I took it. I did the audiobook because he personally narrated it, and I wanted to hear his story in his voice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was great.
Punch Me Up to the Gods.
Punch Me Up to the Gods.
I'll definitely have to.
Look him up. He's an incredible human being.
Okay.
And let's see the last one. I kind of like horror. So I think The Stand by Stephen King.
I've not read it yet, but I've been hearing good things.
Yeah. That's old school.
I'm a new reader, and I currently 82% of the way through The Shining. But this is my second Stephen King book. I read Misery first.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm in The Shining right now, but I'm a Stephen King fan.
Yeah, The Stand is amazing.
Yeah, that's what everyone writes on their lists. You know, I follow all these subreddits now, and people are always. To be fair, a lot of people either love it or hate it.
Yeah,
but if you're a Stephen King guy, you know, you pretty much like it.
The movie does not do it justice.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. Everyone was like, if you have not seen the movie yet, do not watch it first.
Yeah.
Read the book.
Read the book.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, those are good answers. Third category, 3 CDs to take.
3 CDs to take. I would say Standing on the Verge of Getting It On by Funkadelic.
I bought that Funkadelic record whenever
is that what you got?
Yeah.
I left with like $77 worth of albums.
I know you were shopping around. I had to get out of there.
I didn't make it.
What was that place called again?
I wish I could remember. It was not in Mount Lebanon.
It was called yeah. That's all right. Hold on, I'm going to say what it is.
Yeah, give them a little, a little
this
love
place
there.
was sick. This was a perfect example of, going through places and not seeing it. It was called Vinyl Remains.
Yeah,
Vinyl Remains.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
No, they had some real good. I'm standing in line and I looked next to me and they had I had all my purchases. I'm waiting in line behind this guy who dropped like 300.
That dude was
shopping.
Yeah, he was shopping. He had a big bundle.
I looked next to me and there was a Big Audio Dynamite album, their first one, and I was like,
gotta add that.
I picked that up, and the guy goes, he's ringing me up. He goes, I'm going to give you $7 off of that one. I was awesome. Like, thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. That place was cool. Vinyl Remains.
Yeah. So what did I say? Standing on the Verge of Getting It On, Funkadelic. I'm a idiot Springsteen fan. I love Springsteen. So, I have to throw Born to Run in there.
Okay.
And the last one's tough. Maybe T-Rex Electric Warrior.
T-Rex Electric Warrior.
Yeah.
I've not heard it. I'm going to have to listen to it. T-Rex Electric Warrior.
Absolutely.
Okay. Third to last question is the death row meal. About to get put to death. You get the last meal. You get an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. Sorry, I didn't play the sound effect. You got to get the full effect. So your death row meal, what would it be? Appetizer, main course, and a dessert.
Let's see. Appetizer. That's a tough one. Maybe like a fried ravioli.
Oh, that's a good answer.
With a good dipping sauce.
That's not been picked on here.
Yeah. Maybe a good. It just popped into my head. Maybe I'm just because I'm hungry.
I've been on a mozzarella stick kick. I like a mozzarella stick. Some marinara.
I'll say a big bowl of ramen.
Yeah.
Like good ramen.
That's a good one. You got a ramen place in the city you like?
Well, yeah, what's it called now? The Parlor used to be Key Ramen.
Oh, yeah.
And Roger
Isn't it called like Dim's?
Yeah, it's Dim Sum now.
Yeah, okay.
But I loved Key Ramen. Now, I believe that his wife, Roger's wife, she does the I don't know if they're doing fried chicken anymore, but I think that's where the ramen moved.
Oh yeah, Key Pollo it was.
It used to be Key Pollo. I apologize that I can't remember what the names of it of that place is now, but I love the dim sum. We've been there. It's great, but I just miss those big,
the big bowls of the ramen.
Go there on a cold winter day, and that ramen will just warm you up for hours.
Absolutely.
I will definitely do a big bowl of ramen any day. And dessert. I like to keep it simple with like just a hot fudge sundae. I don't like my desserts too fancy.
Yeah. What's a cookie that you dislike? You talked about some of the ones that you like, but what are cookies that you dislike?
It's easy to pick on the oatmeal raisin. That's like,
I've started to like it more in my later years. You know what I don't like is I do not like no-bake cookies.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the no-bake cookies.
Yeah.
They're just, it tastes like a protein bar, but not as good for you at all. I don't know. It's just not that good. That's the most answered of disliked cookies was no-bake cookies on that survey.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It makes sense. They're easy to make, but it's, it's a cookie, whatever.
It's not.
But okay. Now, second to last question. You're getting ready to go on a road trip. You go into a gas station, get a snack. What is it?
Probably probably a Snickers because it's just dense. Look, if I'm on a road trip, I'm not a big junk food eater.
Yeah.
But I think it packs you with some power.
Yeah.
If you're not getting a protein bar or something like that, I think a Snickers is nice and dense, and it has the nuts, and so probably a Snickers.
That's what you favor.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Last question: if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Oof! Wow.
It's a deep one.
Yeah. Maybe Teddy Roosevelt. He was my favorite president. One of the reasons why he started the National Parks.
That's a good answer.
Program, and dude was just crazy. He his political career was nuts, and we went up to Keen's Steakhouse in New York City about a year and a half ago, and my buddy requested on the reservations to get the bull moose room, which is where he started the bull moose party.
Oh, really?
And we got to sit, and like just sitting there just gave me the chills. There's a gigantic bull moose head in there,
wow.
and like, yeah, it's nuts, and it's a historical just not only business but room.
It was good food.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, we were probably there for 4 hours.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So it's an experience.
It's a dining experience.
Yeah. I love it. I love a dining experience.
Yeah. Keen's Steakhouse. I mean, I think they like 1833 or something. I mean, they've been there for
1833.
Yeah, they've been there forever.
Jeez.
Yeah. Check it out. Yeah.
That's good. Okay, that's a good answer. Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did a pretty damn good job at explaining what the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour is. You know, as someone who was not too familiar with it before and, reading into it a little bit more, I feel like the 2+ decades of longevity speaks to this event.
Yep.
I'm excited to experience it this time. I'm going to be bopping around that weekend. I'm definitely going to take my bike down now that you said that. That's going to be the best way to do it. And
there's also, if you have a destination and you want to get there, there's some great bike ways, not necessarily bike paths, but bike ways behind Butler Street.
Yeah.
If you're in traffic or you don't feel like waiting and you know where you want to go, you can kind of skip behind there.
Yeah.
Bikes are great transportation down there. I said, I live down there. I work down there. A lot of stuff we do down there is there, and I take my bike a lot of places.
I wish we knew, what the weather was going to be like down there.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows about Pittsburgh?
We'll roll with it.
Rain or shine, though, we're going to be down there eating cookies.
Yeah,
I'm
for
excited
sure.
about
it. Look, the rain does not keep people away.
I don't imagine it would. I don't imagine people are turning away cookies.
No.
But all right. Well, I appreciate you taking some time. Tell people where your store is, what they could find there, and then we're going to talk about where people can get more information about this.
Yeah, for sure. I'm at 5152 Butler Street. So I'm just a couple storefronts away from 52nd Street. We're right across from Palucci Plumbing and Dive Bar, if those are landmarks that people know. It's a very colorful building. You can't miss it. And like I said, I've been working with animals for over 25 years, and pet nutrition is, I like to problem solve. I don't want to say I like when people come in with pets that have problems, but I like to clear up those problems, whether they're irritations, allergies, anything like that. We talk about poop a lot.
Yeah.
If you have a dog, you understand that that's a subject.
Absolutely.
But I do specialize in a lot of pet nutrition, problem solving, finding the right food for the right pet, for the right parent, for the right price. And when I talk about pet nutrition, I never want people to think that it means expensive pet nutrition. I'm not a boutique.
Yeah.
I'm a neighborhood pet supply store, and I handpick my quality products.
That's what we got to get you back in here to expand on all this a little bit more, because as a pet owner, I want to pick your brain a little bit more
for sure
about everything that goes into the pet supply business. But everyone else that's listening, if you want more information on the Lawrenceville Cookie Tour, there are some ways to do it. You can go on Instagram at lvpgh_cookie tour. There will be information on there. You can go to their Facebook, lvpgh cookie tour. There is all the information on there, but they have a website overall, lvpgh.com/cookie tour 2023. There is a list on there of people. There is going to be a map of places. There is going to be 30 plus blocks of cookie tables, and it's going to be a great time. December 9th and 10th from noon until 5 p.m. down in Lawrenceville on Butler Street and Penn Ave. It's a free event. There's going to be 2 trolleys down there to get you from wherever you need to go. Go down. Use this as an excuse to be thoughtful for your family members and loved ones. Go down there, patronize some local businesses, shop local, and enjoy some cookies while you can. Thank you for listening. Call you right back.